just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify. And someone's head off, no human contact.
Welcome back, YouTube. So we're in for a push and arm session today. Just going to get a couple of minutes done on here, get this locked in, and I'll talk you through the session and kind of the new training split as we go through it. I've just adjusted my training split slightly, just as obviously with the newborn, things are just going to change with training. So I'm just going to commit a little less time to training each day, but just kind of stretch that volume out instead of 5 sessions, over 6 per week. Now, a lot of people will tell you can't train 6 days in a row. There's no golden rules when it comes to bodybuilding. It's all about just managing your recovery. If you manage your recovery, you can train every day. I've seen Keith West do it. I've seen, we've seen Ronnie do it. We've seen guys do 2 a days. It's all about controlling your volume and managing your recovery. So my new training split, Monday to Saturday, rest day Sunday. It's going to be push and arms, posterior, delts and arms, upper. That's more of a chest and back session. Lower, and then an upper 2. The upper 2 is kind of lats, delts and arms. Just a top up day for my weak body parts. Now, when I was kind of putting this split together, I've actually put off for some time, basically because the delts and arms day before the upper, kind of before the chest and back, was putting me off a little. I thought the tricep work might negatively impact that kind of pressing work. I've actually found it's not the case. It's just finding that sweet spot in terms of volume. I'm picking exercises on that delts and arm session that focus on the shortened range, so I get a really good connection. But obviously with being an exercise being loaded in the shortened, think a leg extension compared to a leg press, there's a lot less fatigue, a lot less muscle damage, so you can recover in a quicker turnaround and still get after it. Today's session, I'll put a list of it as it goes down, because there's a couple of new exercises in here, but I'll basically talk you through it as we go through it. Time to get nothing in the game. So first exercise today, mid-incline Smith, 2 sets, got the bench around 30 degrees, and obviously I'm just looking to focus on moving as much loads as I can here with control. This is probably my main press for today, but I've also then got a Watson press with a narrow grip, show you later, and I've got a high incline press. Now, for my high incline press, I am going to try doing the Smith today, but it's all depending on what's free in the gym. So I might use a Panatta shoulder press. That's something you can actually do for yourself. If you're in a busy gym, you might want to just have substitute exercises ready. Now you'll notice with the Smith press, first press of the day, any first exercise of the day, I'm going to take my time working up. So it was a plate per side, 10 reps or so, plate and a half side, probably 6 reps, 2 plates per side, 3-4 reps, 2.5 plates per side, 2-3 reps. As I work up closer to that working set, which is going to be 3 plates plus, I'm just going to bring down the reps to create maximum readiness and minimal fatigue. You hear me talk about this every single session, but it's really, really important. If you want to create the best set you can possibly create when you get to your working set, you need to be primed for it. Yeah, easy. Often get questions about should you wear elbow sleeves, should you wear knee sleeves. For me, I'm a massive fan of wearing elbow sleeves and knee sleeves. They just give you a little support at the bottom where you're at risk, and the main reason for me is they just give you a little warmth around the joint, just going to promote a little bit of blood flow, which again is going to make you safer. And to be honest, it really doesn't fucking matter. For me as well, it's a mental cue to switch on. And what I like to do, and I think this is really going to help you, if you wear elbow sleeves, knee sleeves for exercises, don't wear them all the way through your warm-ups and your feeder sets. Choose to wear them the least you can. For me, it's like the latest I wear it into my feeders, the more I'm going to get out of them when they're ready to be used. That doesn't make sense, I know. But in my head, the least I use them, the more effective they'll be when it comes to using it. If I can do 2.5 plates per side, and it's a tough set with no knee sleeves, no elbow sleeves, when I then get to my working set with that added bonus, it's that little bit extra confidence. Anything that gives you that edge. So this is something I like to do, which is a little different to most than the norm. I like to take my last feeder set really, really fucking close to that top set. So for example, I'm going to add, I think it's 3.75 kg per side. but my last warm-up is going to be very, very close. I'm just going to hit it for 1 rep, get in, get nice and aggressive, get up for it, attack that rep, and then when I move to that top set, I know I'm going to be primed physically and mentally to take the progression. It's inevitable. Fucking easy. Fucking unicorn. Extra 2.5 kg per side and an extra rep. That's the NPP. No, that's fucking mega. Usually I go for a rep or load. So yeah, fucking buzzing with that. Absolutely mega. Yes. So that's 2 really good sets. That's top set, extra 2.5 kilo, extra rep, and an extra rep on the back off. That's a good sign that the deload paid off. You should be coming in after a deload and you should see like a slingshot effect. Think you're not making progress when you deload, but you're pulling yourself back, you're setting yourself up for that slingshot effect. We're seeing it already. It's going to be a big week. So into the second press here. Now, this Watson press, I'm not a big fan of the Watson kit. This in particular is pretty good. I like to take this with a narrow grip. A lot of people think you're going to be biasing the tricep. That's not how it works. If you watch the elbow flexion when I go through this movement, it's still very much pec dominant. If it was tricep dominant, you would notice a lot more elbow flexion. Something like a skull crusher or JM Smith press or close grip bench with a lot of elbow flexion would be a good guide to that. But yeah, here again, I'm just looking to take small load increase, 2.5 kilos either side, and looking to get as many reps as I can, hopefully match reps, maybe even a +1. Watch my torso position when I press. As I'm coming down in the eccentric, I almost like to think I'm rowing the weight into me, and I'll almost start to tuck my chin. And what I'm doing is creating a lot of tightness, and then from there, when I'm nice and tight, I can then imagine pressing myself away from the weight and into the back of the pad. That creates as much stability as possible. It gives me as much drive as possible, and it just pushes me, like it's just going to push the aggression of your pressing to another level. That small tip is absolutely huge. Shit rolls downhill. The biggest mistake I see in the industry is people looking at the wrong inspiration in terms of who they take the example from. Shit rolls downhill. Now, what I mean by that is you see people in the industry, or people looking to get into the industry, into bodybuilding, they're looking at the wrong people's content. They're looking, someone who's starting out in bodybuilding or has just completed their first prep, they're looking at someone like Cuba, trained by JP, people like this, for advice and examples. Now, take the principles of what they do around being smart with your training, being accurate, recovering, yes, and train as hard as possible. But for example, I recently seen on Cuba, a podcast with Cuba, him talking about only doing 13 sets per session. Then I have a client of mine message me, oh, I should only be doing 13 sets because that's what Cuba does. You ain't Cuba, mate. You should follow the plan set for you. You should trial and error to find where your line is. Your ability to recover will be completely different to someone like Cuba. He's much stronger than you, so his ability to recover is going to be a lot less. You can do a lot more volume because you're not handling as much load. So instead of looking at people ahead of you and looking at what they're doing now, look at what they did to get where they are now. So into my third and final press, I usually like 2 to 3 presses per session, just depending on, if it's a push session, I'm going to have 3. If it's an upper, probably going to have 2 or 3, just depending on what the focus is, whether I want a little more back priority, a little more pec focus. So this, I don't really treat any exercise like a standard shoulder press. I much prefer my hips being forward a bit and treating it like a very, very high incline, because you're still going to get the benefits of the shoulder press, but you're going to get a little more kind of upper pec involvement, that kind of clavicular, which for me is a bonus. If I can get on a compound movement, if I can get more muscles involved and working, stimulated, that's just going to be even better for balancing out my physique, making better progress. So yeah, stack plus 10 here. If you're not adding weight to a stack, you need more gear, mate. Press is done. Bit of bicep work, bit of tricep work, delts to finish. This is probably my favourite bicep curl variation at the moment. I've actually seen my biceps grow really well this off season, and I put it down to this. Just a single arm cable curl, nothing fancy, just bracing against the stack itself to create as much stability as possible. Stability is your best friend. And then just thinking of curling and getting good connection. I found working in rep ranges like 10 to 15 a lot more beneficial for something like bicep work. I might bring the rep ranges down as I go through my bicep work, but initially just to build that connection, a little higher rep work, which is usually against the grain for me. I'm usually the 4 to 7, 7 to 10 type of guy. But I found a massive benefit here. You'll also notice I've just attached a little weight here. Instead of taking the 5 kilo jump, I'm just taking a 1.25 kilo. For something like arm work, for smaller body parts, you don't want to take large increments. If you do, I promise you, the quality of your work you'll see a detriment to. Keep the quality high, take the smallest load progression possible, keep doing that, it'll keep the quality high and you'll improve your physique much, much quicker and more effectively. As you'll see with the setup here, I just like to use my non-working arm just to brace against the machine. Again, the more stability you create, the more output you're going to actually get from your set. The more output you get, the more tension you create. The more tension you create, the more muscle you grow. And one.
Welcome to reality.
Now we move on to my favourite tricep pushdown. This, gonna coin it the JP pushdown. I've not seen someone do it before me. I see a few people doing it now, but that's only because, I think they see me do it. Hashtag trendsetter. Got my Jordans on. My represent jumper was on earlier. So the beauty of this, you'll see the figure of 8 straps. What it allows you to do is get a little more out of the end ranges. So instead of just a bar where you're limited to the contraction at the bottom and the stretch at the top because of the hand movement, a lack of hand mobility and movement, what this allows you to do, as you're going through the eccentric, it allows you to internally rotate, which is going to get more lengthening out of the tricep. And then when you're at the bottom, you can externally rotate. So internally rotate on the way up to stretch your tricep. And then as you go through the concentric, it allows you to externally rotate, which is going to get more of a contraction out of that tricep and get even more out of your push downs. You're welcome. I'll put my Stripe link in the bottom and you can shoot me some dollar across for that. Something you'll notice as well, the further and further I get through my session, the less kind of warm-ups and feeders I need. Beginning the session, they're very important. That's where you're more at risk of injury and niggles and a loss of performance potential. But as you get further into the session, you're warm, blood's flowing, you're mentally locked in, you need a lot less warm-ups. And usually towards the end of your session, you're going to have more isolation work anyway, so you're not going to need, there's not much of a risk there. Come on there. Oh, mate, don't worry, it's all good, bro. That's biceps done, triceps done, all my pressing work done, onto my laterals. So what I've got here is 3 sets with an intensifier. So after each set, I'll just do a mechanical drop set. I'll just keep the same load. I'll move away from the bench, and so my first set, the straight set's gonna be like strict reps. And then when I finish that, I'm going to move in and do like what I call a mechanical drop set. Same load, use a little inertia, a little uglier reps, a little more body English, and just stand up and just use a little more momentum to just take that set all the way to failure. So obviously with the dumbbell lateral, the criticism is the shit profile. It's very heavy at the top where you're very weak, but this allows me to really kind of rinse the whole contractile, the whole profile throughout the contractile range and just make the absolute most of the set. So as you can see, a straight set, strict form, and then I'm just jumping straight in to a little uglier form, a little more aggression, a little more momentum, just to, like I said, just rinse the whole contractile range. PSB, and that is post-session bollocks. Woo! Woo! What a fucking session. That was a belter. Pushing arms, box off. What a way to start Monday. We're back. Sorry, my mic just disconnected for a second then. But yeah, pushing arms done and dusted. And what a way to fucking start a week, mate. Absolute belter of a session. Progressions. More or less every set, especially every pressing set at the beginning. Then isolation work filled with progressions as well. Yeah, it's just absolutely filthy. I'll head home and pose now, just simply because there's nowhere to pose in the gym at the moment. They're having a bit of a refurb. Just wait for this to connect again. Apologies, we're having some technical difficulties here. Yeah, there's nowhere to pose in the gym, so I'm just going to head home and pose. I actually need to go get dog food soon, which is an absolute chore because my dog's stomach is as strong as Liverpool's defence currently. And at the time of filming this, Liverpool have just lost 3 games on the bounce. Just lost to Chelsea on the weekend. And our defence has been fucking appalling all season. So yeah, absolute belter of a session today. Progressions across the board. Check-ins done this morning. I think I've got 1 or 2 left to do. But yeah, obviously it's my first kind of full week training since being a dad. Well done me. Just glancing down on my balls then. Well done, Joshy boy. Well done, Joshy boy. Very good stuff. Very good, very nice. So yeah, belt of a session. Go get some dog food, pose, shower, eat, and then wrap up some work and then spend some time with my girls. Harper, Amy and Charlie. I'm destined to live in a house of girls. I'm afraid of having another child because I know it's going to be another girl. It's a problem because when I was younger, so my mates have this theory, it's called Shagger's Curse, and I can't believe I'm saying this on YouTube, how professional. When I was younger, your boy was a shagger, absolute shagger. Won't divulge too much, but yeah, I did alright for myself. So yeah, I'm cursed to have girls forever now, and obviously they say guys who take gear, cursed to have girls. But yeah, all good, fantastic session, head home now, and then back in for posterior tomorrow. I'm going to start getting these out at least once a week, and even more frequent if possible. So yeah, do your thing, comment, like, share, subscribe. And obviously, if you have any feedback, please feel free to message me. It's always appreciated. And I'll speak to you soon, people. Thank you, YouTube.